In 2017, Neymar moved to PSG from Barcelona for a world record transfer fee of 222 million euros. But the question still remains, did he ever live up to that 200 million pound price tag? And in fact, did any of the top 10 most expensive transfers of all time live up to their high price tag? In this video, we're going to find that out, so let's get into it. Before we get into the video, please could you hit that subscribe button? I'm back on YouTube now, uploading twice a week. Please hit that and you'll see more videos from man, so let's get into it. The 10th most expensive transfer of all time was Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus back in 2018 for 117 million euros. I remember this at the time. It was a weird signing because you've come off the back of winning 3 Champions Leagues in a row and you are the best player in the world at the time. Why have you gone to Juventus? He said he went to win the Champions League with them because he's done it everywhere else. He thought maybe Italy was a new challenge, he could win the Champions League there. And to be honest, he did alright, because you got to understand, at the time he was in his mid-30s. He wasn't going in his prime, but he still played 134 games for them over a few seasons, scored 101 goals and got 22 assists, which is a great return for a 33, 34-year-old striker. Yeah, it's Ronaldo, but still, you've pretty much got a goal or assist in most games. He won the Serie A in 2019 and 2020, and he won a few domestic cups as well. But the main reason he joined Juventus was to win that Champions League, which unfortunately he couldn't do. He got knocked out of the quarters, and then he got knocked out of the round of 16 twice. And even though he individually did well, I remember him scoring a hat-trick against Atletico Madrid, the team just didn't do what it was there for. It was an old team all around. You had 35-year-old defenders at the back, you had like a 37-year-old Buffon in goal, as well as a 33-year-old Ronaldo up top. The thing with Ronaldo as well, you obviously have the on-pitch stuff, being the greatest footballer on the pitch, but he brings a lot more eyes to that team. Juventus's global brand after Ronaldo joined, it went through the roof, because you have people that are literally Ronaldo fans, support Juventus because of Ronaldo, support Al Nassr, some Saudi team, because of Ronaldo. Ronaldo does this to people. He just brings people wherever he goes. Juventus' global reach reached an all-time high when Ronaldo joined. I remember their Instagram popped off. They got over 100 mil followers in a day. His reach off the pitch, it was crazy, and that obviously boosted Juventus' brand. That could maybe be enough reason why they wanted to sign him. I don't really know, but it did help them out. But what did Ronaldo do for Juventus? He won them a few league trophies, which at the time they were doing that anyway. They were dominating the league, so that didn't really mean too much. He came there to win the UCL. He didn't do that. He arguably started the growth of younger players in that team, like Dybala. Remember 2018, Dybala was seen as the next big thing. Ronaldo comes in and you kind of obviously have to accommodate to Ronaldo. He didn't really grow in the 3 years. He kind of is still the same player from 2018 and he hasn't really got past that Ronaldo era of Juventus. He barely played. And then he also set back the club in wage structure as well, because he is demanding over 500, 600k a week. Juventus players aren't usually used to that. Now you've got meaty players earning over 120k a week for Juventus. He fucked up that club's wage structure still to this day, still 7 odd years later. And since he's left, Juventus have been poor. Like, he low-key ruined that team, because since he left, have they won a league in the last 4 years? No. Have they got far in the Champions League? No. Are they even in the Champions League next season? No. So Ronaldo, since he left the club, they have done nothing. So was his time there a success? Him personally, yeah, he did his thing. Got league titles, got some goals. But the club, the main objective was to win the champs. Got nowhere near it. Nowhere near it in the slightest. The 9th most expensive transfer of all time was Jack Grealish to Man City in 2021 for 117 million euros. Let's say how it is. At that time in 2021, Jack Grealish was one of the most sought after players in the Premier League. Everyone wanted him. United, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. Everyone in the league wanted Jack Grealish. He was that good. And his PR was at an absolute all-time high after the flipping 2021 Euro campaign. Oh my god, he was loved by every human. Everyone loved Jack Grealish at the time. So him signing for your club, again, meant more eyes, more fans to the club. And so he smashed the British chance record at the time, going to Man City. At the time, it was a great move. You're joining the Premier League champions, and he needed Champions League football. He was a player that needed to play in the Champions League. Winning 3 Premier Leagues in a row, as well as the Champions League. He played 157 times for them, only scoring 17 goals and getting 23 assists. But that's never really been his game. He's not really been a goal-scoring winger. He's kind of more dribble, 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 pass. And if you want to talk about Jack Grealish's City career, it formed a similar pattern to how it usually goes for Pep players. First season, struggled initially, couldn't really break into the team, but you see that a lot with Pep's players. Second season, becomes an integral part to the team, wins a treble. That is big, by the way. He won a treble for Man City and he was an integral part of that winning side. That's been his best season in a City shirt, both in terms of performances and stats. He was immense that year. And then after that season, you go and sign Doku and Savinho, and then now Grealish never gets in the team anymore because Pep had decided to go back to explosive wingers. Grealish is not an explosive winger. He's kind of deemed surplus to requirements right now. So in the 4 years he's been there, he's had 3 poor seasons and 1 good one. The 8th most expensive transfer of all time was Antoine Griezmann to Barcelona for 120 million euros. Back in 2019, Griezmann was one of the best footballers on the planet, so it only made sense to join one of the best teams in the world in Barcelona for a team that was struggling to replace Neymar. He was again another one of the 500 Neymar replacements they decided to get. He was there for 2 years, played 102 games, scored 35 goals and got 17 assists. For Griezmann standards, that is not good at all. He's expected to hit 30 goals every season, not 30 in 2 years. And he didn't win a league, he didn't win a Champions League, he only won a Copa del Rey as a Barcelona player. And let's just say it how it was. He was a massive flop. He never really clicked with Messi or Suarez because he wasn't a left winger. He was played out of position a lot of the time and it didn't suit his game at all. Another issue with Griezmann was he is a very similar kind of player to Messi. So they were taking up a lot of the same positions. They both wanted to come inside. So they're both on the edge of the box waiting for the ball. And then what didn't help was as well, like I said, he was one of Neymar's replacements. But the pressure of being the next Neymar was too much for him. He was played out of position, he didn't really click with anyone, and then 2 years later he's gone back to Atletico for 20 mil. And there he's fine again. He's refound his form, he's doing his thing. But his stint at Barca for them 2 years was horror. Pressure got to him, he did not have a good time, didn't play well, played out of possession, and apparently didn't have a good relationship with Messi or Suarez. So it's a bad signing. Probably one of the worst ones on the list, and it doesn't get spoken about nearly as much as the others. The 7th most expensive signing of all time was Eden Hazard from Chelsea to Real Madrid back in 2019 for 120 million euros. This man was the Ronaldo replacement. The number 7 shirt given to him. The best left winger in the world at the time. He was supposed to go to Real Madrid since about 2015. He's finally got there after about 3-4 years of them trying. He's got the Ronaldo shirt. He is going to take over the world. This is Eden Hazard. He's going to burst and blow the fuck up. And that did not happen at all. He was there for 4 years, riddled with injuries. When he played, didn't play well, came overweight. In the 4 years he was there, he only played 76 games. That is all you need to hear. 4 years, you played 76 games. That is outrageous. In them 76 games, he got 7 goals and 12 assists. That is such a poor return. Eden Hazard, in 4 years, got 7 goals. Yeah, cool. He won the league twice. He won the UCL, but he didn't play a part in either of them. He didn't start the final. I don't think he was on the bench in the final. He was injured for like the whole of the both seasons. So yeah, he's won a few trophies and cool, they look nice. But him specifically didn't do anything in them campaigns. And I think what hurt him the most was while he was out injured, you then saw the emergence of Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo, who are now 2 of the best players in the world right now. That's what fucked him up as well. Because how are you trying to replace Vinny Jr., who is scoring in the Champions League final that you missed, who is a main part of the team while you're winning the league? Like, you're not going to be able to replace that. And also he's about 10 years younger or something at the time. You would rather push the younger player who's more explosive, gets you goals, gets you assists, and more importantly is available. He's not injured all the time. He's not overweight. He's scoring you goals. Eden Hazard was the opposite of that, man. And to see how his time at Madrid ended was just bad, man. Like, he was such a nice footballer to watch. The 6th most expensive transfer of all time was Enzo Fernandez from Benfica to Chelsea for 121 million euros. People got to remember what he was signed off of. He was signed off of the back of that 2022 World Cup campaign with Argentina where he won Young Player of the Tournament. He became a household name within 2 weeks. He was scoring bangers in the quarters and the round of 16 in the semis. He was getting assists every game pretty much. He was a young player of that tournament and Chelsea needed a statement signing. They needed to get back to the top, so they splashed all the cash in January, 121 million euros for Enzo Fernandez, a box-crushing, tempo-setting young midfielder. He's played 110 times for Chelsea, scoring 19 goals and getting 10 assists. Considering he's playing as a DM, that's not that bad. So I wouldn't really take the stats too much into consideration. He's not a goal-scoring midfielder for Chelsea. This season he has been. His numbers have been decent this season, but before, he's been more of a DM. The thing with Enzo, he's been there, what, 2 years now? He's had 4 managers. You've had 4 managers in 2 years. That is not the consistency you need when you're coming into a new league, learning a new language, and you're constantly switching managers. And he struggled to find consistency with the midfield partner as well. It's been Drewsbury Hall, it's been Caicedo, it's been Lavia, it's been Mason Mount at times. And let's be honest, the mess that Chelsea are in, a 22-year-old midfielder is not fixing everything. I get it, he's 121 mil, so you kind of want him to do everything, but he's not an everything kind of midfielder. He's a box-crashing midfielder. He gets the third man, runs in the box. That is Enzo Fernandez. There's a lot going against Enzo Fernandez, but still, you have to perform no matter the consequences, and for 121 mil, you've not performed at all. This season, like I said, he's been a bit better, but in recent seasons, he's just getting bypassed through midfield. It's like he's too fat and slow for the league, bro. He's just getting ran past by mid-table Prem clubs. There's still a lot for Enzo Fernandez to go through. He's signed an 8-9 year contract. He's only done about 2 years, so he's got another 7 years to go, and he looks like he's improving year on year, so he could be a great signing for Chelsea in the future. As of right now, it's kind of mid. It's kind of mid, but it can obviously get so much better for him. The 5th most expensive transfer of all time was Xiao Felix from Benfica to Atletico Madrid for 127 million euros, and at the time, he was the talent in the world. He was the generational talent, the next Ballon d'Or winner. He was doing things at Benfica no one has ever seen before, and Atletico Madrid was the team to pick him up for 120 million euros to obviously replace Antoine Griezmann, who that summer just left to Barcelona. And in the 131 games he played for Atletico Madrid, he scored 34 goals and got 18 assists, which is a horrible return for what the player he was supposed to be. He won the La Liga in 2021, but he didn't really play a part. He was injured for the second half of the season, and he was rotated heavily in the first half. That was the Suarez carry job season. Xiao Felix didn't really do much in that season. Yeah, I mean, he won, he scored a few goals in that, but it wasn't his stamp on the team which made them win the title. It was some 35-year-old Luis Suarez. And let's just say it how it is. It was the wrong player at the wrong club. Everyone can see it coming a mile off. When you have a player with flair and talent, why the fuck are you going to Atletico Madrid who sit 10 men behind the ball and counter-attack? He wasn't fast enough to be on the counter. He was just one of them in the hole, get the ball and keep it ticking. But you can't keep it ticking at Atletico Madrid. It's just counter-attack after counter-attack, and that is not his game at all. He wasn't given the freedom he was given at Benfica. It was much more a rigid tactical structure, and he couldn't play his game how he wanted to. And this ultimately fucked his confidence up. Even to this day, he's shown flashes here and there of brilliance, but not a sustained period of time, not a run of games. He doesn't even start for a run of games. Like, he was shipped off to Chelsea back in 2024. 6 months later, he's loaned out to AC Milan. Now AC Milan don't even want him. So who wants Xiao Felix? I think it's sad, man, for what he was supposed to be 6 years ago to what he is now. He's burnt out at 25, that's crazy. The 4th most expensive transfer of all time was Ousmane Dembele from Borussia Dortmund to Barcelona back in 2017 for 135 million euros. This was the first of many Neymar replacements. He was probably the closest player they've signed to Neymar in terms of, at the time, one of the most sought after talents in the world. Both feet, tricky, can shoot, can pass, can take players on. He was the Neymar regen, basically. He played 185 times for the club, scoring 40 goals and getting 43 assists, which is an okay return considering with the context and the injuries he had. He won 3 La Ligas in his time there and a few domestic cups, but like Xiao Felix, it wasn't him. He didn't have his stamp on the team. It was, of course, Lionel Messi. Of course you're going to win trophies when you got Messi on the other wing. But the main issue with Dembele was the injuries, man. The injuries killed him. He suffered over 15 different injuries, which meant he missed over 100 games for Barcelona due to injury. At the time as well, Barcelona were not going for a good state. They lost Messi back in 2021. Their managers are coming through like a revolving door. They were just swapping managers every season, basically. So he never really had like a nailed down starting 11, because you had some managers like Xavi who loved him, but then you had other managers like Koeman who wanted him shipped off and gone. It just didn't work for certain players and certain managers, and that shook his confidence. He wasn't getting game time. It just wasn't really working for him at Barca. That was obviously until Xavi came along. Xavi got the best out of Dembele. He put him on a whole new plan, so he barely got injured under Xavi. I think he only injured like 1 or 2 times, and that gave him his best season in Barcelona, getting 13 assists, which was the highest in the league. And this title, he got them to the title. He was a part of the team that got them to the title. Obviously, since then, he's gone to PSG and he's won the 2 league titles there. He won a Champions League this year as well, and now he's a strong favourite for the Ballon d'Or. On to the top 3 now, and the 3rd most expensive expensive signing in football history was Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool to Barcelona back in 2017 for 140 million euros. When he left Liverpool, that was probably one of the saddest days in my life. Coutinho was the superstar in our team at that time. Let's have it right. He was one of the best players in the Premier League. He was signed as another one of the Neymar replacements because they realised Dembele wasn't going too well for the first 6 months. So I thought, fuck it, let's spend another 140 odd mil on Coutinho and see if that works. In the 106 games he played for the club, he got 25 goals and 23 assists, which is okay considering goals and assists wasn't really his game. In his time at Barca, he won 2 doubles in the 2 years he was there, but just like Dembele, he wasn't a big part of it. It was Lionel Messi who contributed to the success of Coutinho for his Barcelona list. And a very big issue to his success at Barcelona was also Messi, because they're very similar players. They both want to take up the same positions. You've got one on the left, one on the right, both trying to come inside and collect the ball to feet and take players on. They are literally carbon copies of each other. And the issue with that is you have no pace in the team. If your two wingers are Coutinho and Messi, there is no explosive pace in the team. And you're not going to drop Messi for Coutinho. And then he couldn't pass the ball like as well as Iniesta and that. So he couldn't play midfield. He wasn't a Barcelona midfielder where just keep the ball ticking. He just wanted to run with the ball. And that's ultimately what it came down to. Because when he was put in a position, that was his position. Whereas at Liverpool, he could kind of free roam, do what he wanted. But obviously at Barca, you've got to accommodate to Messi. He never really got into a rhythm at Barcelona. He was hated by the fans. He didn't really get a space in the starting 11. He was always in and out. When he did play, it wasn't really that great. He was trying to do his long shots like he was doing at Liverpool. Wasn't really coming off at Barca. It just was a bad move from start to finish, man. And since then, his career was in disarray. Went to Aston Villa in 2023 and now he's in the Brazilian league, where he was doing an interview the other week and there was gunshots happening right near him. The second most expensive transfer of all time was Kylian Mbappe from Monaco to PSG back in 2017 for 180 million euros. Arguably, the only player that did well on this list. He joined obviously after that amazing season with Monaco, winning the league, getting them to the semi-finals of the Champions League, goes to the best team in the country, as everyone in that league does. And he was the next football superstar. And PSG got him early, again for a lot of money, but got him before everyone else. He played 308 times for PSG, scored 256 goals and got 108 assists. He left the club as the club's all-time leading top goal scorer. He won 6 league titles in 7 years. And that summer, when the transfers happened, everyone was like, cool, Neymar's left Messi's shadow to come into PSG, be his main man. And Mbappe was like, fuck out of here, man. This is my team. I'm doing this. And after a year, it became very evident Mbappe was the man to take this team forward, not Neymar. Becomes top goal scorer of the club. One top goal scorer in the league from 2019 to every single year until he left. So for 6-7 years in a row, he won the golden boot in the league. Off the left wing as well, he's not even playing up front. Only thing he couldn't do was obviously win the Champions League. The closest he got was in 2020 in the final, where he dropped a stinker in that final. That was a bad game from Mbappe. Missed an open goal. He is arguably the greatest ever player in PSG's history. Got them league titles, top goal scorer, and now obviously he's gone to Madrid to try and win the Ballon d'Or, win the UCL, and become the player everyone thought he was going to be. For me, he's still the best player in the world. But people say Neymar, people say Dembele, this, that, this. Mbappe, for me, objectively, is the best footballer on the planet right now. And now, on to number 1. The most expensive transfer in football history. Neymar from Barcelona to PSG back in 2017 for 222 million euros. Now, when this man left, he was arguably the best player in the world, including Messi and Ronaldo. He was up there. He was fighting for them spots, but he realised he couldn't do it in Barca when you got Messi next to him. You got to become the main man somewhere, and he decided PSG was the best place to do that. Win the club the first Champions League and cement his status in the game. He played 173 times for the club, scoring 118 goals and getting 79 assists, which averages out to a goal or assist every single game he played for the club. He won 5 league titles in the 6 years he was there, a very good return, as well as a few domestic cups. 2017-18 Neymar may be the greatest footballer that has ever played the game. That season he had, hands down, the best season I've ever seen anyone play football. I was tuning into League 1 French football to watch Neymar. Who the fuck is trying to watch League 1, bro? Neymar made us all watch League 1. It was ridiculous. The things he was doing with the football that year, insane. Like, he was the best player on the planet by a long shot. But guess what happened? Injuries. Injuries killed him! He missed over 100 games in the 6 years he was there. He never won the Champions League. People can always say that. But when he was injured, that's when they got knocked out. Against United, they got knocked out. Against Juventus, they got knocked out when Neymar wasn't there. The times they were getting knocked out, it wasn't due to Neymar. He was injured. He could do nothing. And the only time he had an injury-free season was the season, coincidentally, he drags them to the Champions League final. And when I say drag, that is an understatement. He took that team single-handedly to the Champions League final, the game against Atalanta, the game against Dortmund, and even the game against Bayern, where he didn't have a great game, but he was still one of the best players on that pitch. In my opinion, the best ever player to put on a PSG shirt. I think he is a better footballer than Messi and Ronaldo. For me, Neymar's the GOAT. He couldn't live up to the price tag. In hindsight, no one can live up to 200 mil because you've got to win like 7 Ballon d'Ors in 7 years, 7 Champions League, 7... You've got to win everything. Obviously, no one can do that. He wasn't a flop, but he wasn't a success. He was kind of in the middle, which is a weird thing to say for someone who cost 200 mil. But it makes sense, man. That is this video. Fuck me, it's a long ass video, man. But I hope you enjoyed the video of what happened to the top 10 most expensive transfers in football history. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, all of that, and I'll see you in a bit, and love.